And we live. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And thank you to the fire truck that's running by me. That is not going to happen in this video, but it wasn't going to happen anyway. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. I'll say what's up to her.
Hello, beautiful people. I am here. I'm off camera because I am still working from home. Actually, I might just leave my camera on like this because I don't care. But yeah, like the video, share, subscribe.
Yes,
Take your
all that
ID
good
program.
stuff, y'all. Very important, y'all, especially me. I got to do that. But please subscribe to Mrs. Best. Any reviews or recaps that I do not cover on my channel, it's because we cover it on Mrs. Best channel. So far, we have the Valley Persian style, we have Love and Hip Hop Miami, and we also have 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, which is definitely a great show. I got in my feelings last night, so y'all go ahead and watch that because it was absolutely amazing. And then this week we have coming up, we're going to do Love After Lockup, which premieres Friday. We're going to do that Saturday morning. So if you guys can do me that solid, go to Mrs. Best's channel, go ahead and subscribe to her channel so that way you do not miss it. You are all great. So overall, we got some people in the chat here. I see DM Rocks. Off topic, did you see the Bell Collective teaser? Yes, we did. It was amazing. And yes, I will be covering Bell Collective on my channel when it premieres in February. So I will be covering that. And I also will cover, because it's been announced that Stormy Steele from Love Marriage Huntsville will be doing a Bell Collective Birmingham. So I will be covering that too on my channel. So you guys can
Yes,
look
I
out for
didn't
that.
have to convince him.
No,
God
she
is
did not.
real. He exists. Get this man to cover a new show. I'd be like, Lord help us. I'd be telling James, if you could cover Love and Marriage Huntsville, you could cover any doggone thing. But you know, he don't listen to me.
I try to listen to her every now and then. It's
You
fine,
see
y'all.
that every now and then.
Every
That's
now
all.
and then. Every now and then. Hi Naya, thank you for being here. Booked and busy. Lexi Lean is here. Hi, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. I know Kevin Reynolds, but I actually do like her. So
Does he hate Stormy? I don't remember him giving an opinion because she was on the show such a short time.
read the comments.
Well, well now I know. Now I know, but I'm just like I never heard him speak about that when she was
No,
on the
did I
show.
recap the show? Wait, did I have my YouTube channel
You
when she was
recapped her
on?
last season. That
Okay,
last season when she was
okay,
there
I
for some
remember.
of it. Yeah.
I remember. Okay, all
Birmingham is
right.
so random. I'm like, where does Stormy actually live?
Well, Huntsville is what, a 2 hour drive from Birmingham? Kevin Reynolds, how far is Huntsville from Birmingham? You would know this. So how far is that? Let us know in the chat. So y'all, this is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 6 reunion part 1. It wasn't a bad reunion. However, I'm gonna say it like this. For all you Lisa and Meredith fans, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, they both got on my fucking nerves. So I'm sorry. I'm not gonna have a nice word to say about them. Just saying. So just putting that out there. I don't know how Mrs. Best feels about Lisa and Meredith on reunion part 1, but you
They get
know.
on my nerves. They are the reason that if they keep it up, they're gonna get they're gonna get each other fired together, or Bravo's
Mhm.
gonna look at it like the behavior that they have, especially with two people deflecting, lying, refusing to be accountable for anything. It never works when you have a cast full of people like that. I feel like this is why there's rumors that Meredith is not returning. Because if I was a producer and I knew that Meredith and Lisa together were not good, realistic, or enjoyable for the audience, then if I had to pick one to get rid of, I would get rid of Meredith because Lisa pisses y'all off so much that it keeps for a good show. So I don't like them.
They're holding true to their alliance, Naya. This is what I'm saying. They were holding true to that alliance. But y'all, I forgot to do this, and I'm about to piss Mrs. Best off, but that's okay because she's my best friend and she loved me anyway. I forgot to go over the reunion looks of everybody on this show. So,
And you see nobody complained.
yeah, nobody
Nobody
complained.
asked
Nobody's.
for it. Nobody cared. The people said, "Are you going to discuss Potomac's reunion looks?" the people were inquiring about other shows, but after these looks came dreadful.
So we have to give our best and worst fashion looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my screen here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look here. So first off, we have Heather, Miss Heather Gay. So Heather's dress is, I love the color, but I don't like the actual dress itself. I felt like Heather looked like she brought a regular dress and then sewed on some curtains on the top of the sleeve, on the shoulders, just to make a cape. And I think it looks terrible on her. I didn't like her hair. I didn't like her makeup. I think she needed to wear a necklace in the scene. So in this picture and live, I did not like Heather's look. Meredith. Meredith wore this very big eggplant dress that was very sleek and similar to the last dress she had at the last reunion. I didn't like her dress either. I thought Meredith's dress was understated. I felt like she needed a different color. Hair was okay, makeup was okay. Now, Bron. Bronwyn's dress was not cute either. I didn't like her hair in the pictures, but on camera it didn't look that bad. It was a little too thick for me personally, but I like her better with sleek. Like if she's gonna wear her hair long, it needs to be very sleek and slim. I wish she would have. I wish she would have did something like what Lisa did. So those three looks. Next we have Lisa, Mary, and Angie K. Lisa always wears a dress like this to the reunions. She does this every single year. It's just a different color. So I feel like Lisa has just the same dresses, just in different colors. She wears this exact same dress. She wears her hair that exact same way. Same old, same old. Mary, I did not like Mary's dress. I don't know why Mary insists on wearing these gloves. Her hair looked okay. Makeup was fine. Angie K. Angie K slayed in that red. I loved her dress. Loved the cut. It fit perfectly on her. I didn't care for her hair too much. I felt like she should have did something different. And I loved her red lip. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. And then the last two. Brittany, I thought her dress was very like promish. It just gave me prom. It was way too much. Her hair was way too much. I was not a fan of what she had. I thought the color of the dress was beautiful, but I just didn't like it personally. And then Whitney's dress. I did not like Whitney's dress at all. I thought it looked very wrinkled. It looked like she didn't iron it. She just put it on and just walked out to the reunion. I didn't like her hair either. I thought that if she was going to wear this dress, then she should have did something different to her hair. Maybe had a her bob or something simple, so that way it didn't take away. But I didn't like her dress either. I thought it was. I just thought the material of it was just a very wrinkly, crinkly look, and I thought that that just looked sloppy. So now that we have looked at everybody's dress, I'm going to give my best dress to Angie K. And I'm going to give my worst dress. Ooh, I can't decide between Heather and Whitney. I'm gonna give it to Whitney just because I don't like. I just didn't like that. I thought that was way. I felt like she could have did better. Mrs. Best, your turn.
I'm not giving best dress to anyone. Nobody looked special to me. Um, yeah, Angie K looked nice, but it was no different from the nice that she gives on Watch What Happens Live on the show. Um, Worst dressed, I think, would go to Heather
Okay.
or
Okay.
Whitney. They can share it, bad weather together. They just
Yeah.
both look terrible. I want Meredith to stop face tuning her pictures because you look like Chloe in your pictures, and then we see you up close and you look like a 59-year-old woman. And that's fine. But please stop looking like you are in your 30s in your photos, Meredith. Bronwyn having hair, I love it on her. The problem is, if you're going to have hair, you have to know what to wear. She should have done a strapless dress. Um, Heather's hair is a joke. Her outfit is a joke. She has no shape and her head is large because the Ozempic is sucking the fat out of everywhere in her body but her head. Um, Brittany just looked like she happy to be there.
Brittany just wore somebody a prom dress and just
Brittany
decided
just
to,
happy to be there and
yeah,
putting on shit that she had in the closet or that somebody would make her. Um, yeah, these women never give in reunions. If you go look at every reunion since season 1 of Salt Lake City, these bitches never meet. They never give. They never give. Not once. I'm sorry, but I need them to come corrected, come a little better. Because Miami Housewives, Potomac Housewives, Married to Medicine, hell, even the Vanderpump Rules cast do better than this. Salt Lake City never gives when it
it's
comes to the
just,
fashions for reunions.
I think it's just everybody looks so promish, and I just don't like that. Like, this is not a prom. This is a, you know,
These people
it,
can't dress. You trying to assess the reunion? They cannot dress. Even when they talk about their fashions on the show, how Mary was like when Bronwyn was new. Oh no, that is fashion. They'd be choosing the ugliest and craziest of fashions. They don't be wearing them well. This cast cannot dress. Now they are one of the more entertaining housewives cast.
right.
They're killing it, but they can't dress. And they never I've given up now on them dressing correctly for reunions. Because why is Heather's hair look like she about to go play pickleball with a friend for lunch? But
You
she got on
know,
a dress like she gonna do a praise dance at somebody's funeral.
Heather's dress would have been nice if she didn't sew on them curtains to the back of it. Like, she would have, her dress would have actually been cute on her. And if she would have did something with her hair that was
Cute
different.
is not reunion ready. None of these bitches are reunion ready. Not one.
But Naya brought up a good point. Why don't they ever go on theme? Like, do they ever have a theme? Everybody wears something just completely different on this. Like, maybe they're the contract that doesn't have to go in theme at the reunions. Maybe that's what it is, Naya. But that is a great point. Bravo needs to hire a team that can get them right for the reunion. It's like herding cats. They all over the place. It is. Like, they are all over the place when it comes to the reunion.
Like,
And they
how
just
is
came.
your main photo, the graphic that's on the screen now? How does that give reunion? How does that give? This is how I expect them to look at a reunion.
Yes,
This is how I expect them to come correct at a reunion. But they never
absolutely.
do. They never do. And I'm getting tired of Lisa, Mary. I'm gonna say Lisa, Mary, Meredith. They always wear their hair and
Hmm.
outfits the exact same way.
Yeah,
Mary, you have come far with your hair, but bitch, if you don't give us a pinup do, some bangs, you are a black woman. I want to see you flex. I want to see you change personas. Something.
right.
Do
Because
something. Get some singles. So give us a finger wave. Something.
oh, could you imagine Mary in a finger wave? She would kill it because she got the right head shape for it.
And she got she has a very she Mary's a beautiful woman, but I just like
Yes,
you can be a pastor's wife and still give us more than what Mary gives us.
absolutely,
But you can also be a
absolutely.
pastor's wife and give less than what Pastor Jamal's wife gives. There is a okay. There is some middle ground, Mary. Mary needs to find the middle ground.
No, there is a middle ground for sure, but I agree
Said,
with you.
hell, my granny giving more leg going to church.
Okay, and what's crazy is Mary be having like some of the cutest shoes on and be covering it all up with that dress, and I'd be like, Mary, how are we supposed to see the shoes and we can't see it because you got this big ass draped dress on? But anyways, y'all, that's not why we here now. We gonna have to now we gotta talk about this reunion. It was actually a really good reunion, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It was okay. So the reunion start, Kevin Reynolds. Kevin Reynolds. See, don't start none today. Don't you start this today. Behave yourself. I'm just saying. Behave yourself. Do you remember how pale Mary was season one? Does she now she's one of us? Oh yeah, she was definitely bleaching. Absolutely. She was using that skin cream. I don't know why she stopped either. I'm glad she did stop. Whatever she was doing, I'm glad she did stop. But no, she definitely, yeah,
Because the
that first
black
season.
community came from her, from the elite black community to the regular niggas. We all came together, and it's not very often that we gonna come together in solidarity as a community, but we all came together to tell Mary, our good sis, that she had to get that hair, that makeup, and that bleaching in order. Because Mary's first couple of seasons, it was hard to watch just looking at her.
Yeah. Season 4 too was hard to watch. I didn't know what hell. I didn't know what Mary was doing. I was like, damn. And you the richest one of them all? Okay, never mind. But anyways, yeah. So we start the reunion with Meredith. Meredith says because Andy asked Meredith like, how do you think the trajectory of the show is going to go? And she goes, well, I don't know. I have a question for Whitney. And so she asked Whitney about a recent moment that they had where Whitney said that she was going to clear up a lot of things at the reunion. So she wanted to give Whitney the floor to go ahead and do that. And Whitney was like, Meredith, I just said that, I was very drunk at BravoCon and I only wanted to be your friend. I want to be your friend on and off camera. Like, I don't ever want that to change because off camera, you're not the same as on camera. And it was like, what? What are you talking about, Whitney? And Meredith said that that's not what happened. You said that you don't know why you came after me the way that you did, and that you wanted to retract the thing. So she said, no. Whitney said, no, Meredith, I'm not retracting anything. I stand behind what I said. I stand behind that I was a good friend to you, Meredith. I was a great friend. When Lisa said horrible things about you, Meredith, I stuck up for you. I was there and at least we said we all said horrible things about Meredith. It wasn't just me. Thank you for bringing me out. We all said and Whitney's like we all said horrible things, but I'm just saying I supported Meredith and everything. And Lisa kept cutting Whitney off, and Whitney was getting flustered, so she couldn't get her words together. So she said, Lisa, why don't you shut the fuck up? Because I'm not talking to you. And Meredith said, don't you tell her to shut up. She doesn't have to shut up. Don't you tell her to shut up. And see, I was like, oh, okay, so what the fuck going on here? Don't tell her to shut up. First of all, don't tell me what to do either, ma'am. While he's not trying to correct me. And so Andy was like, yeah, you were pretty lit at BravoCon and on Watch What Happens Live. And Whitney was like, yeah, and I'm never going to do that again. I didn't know what was wrong with me. My legs weren't working. It was just crazy. And all I was paying attention to was Mary's face the entire time. And Mary was killing me with the facial expressions. When Whitney said, I was drunk at BravoCon, Mary said, yes, she was. Absolutely. But to me, I felt like I don't know if Meredith in that moment was she got something out of Whitney because we didn't see what happened at BravoCon in the behind the scenes moments. All we saw were the games and the activities and stuff. So we don't know what could have been said. So Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, do you think that Whitney took back her trajectory of what Meredith did on that plane? Do you think that that really happened or do you think Meredith is spinning something maybe she heard?
I think that I think the question's irrelevant as a whole off of the fact that Meredith and Whitney, as well as the tabloids, can recall Whitney was drunk as hell at BravoCon. It was all over the tabloids. It was all over the blogs. It was all over social media. The moment that somebody is so drunk that Andy Cohen is confirming that her husband had to carry her away, what kind of a conversation could you have had that's worthwhile for us to even discuss if this woman was drunk on her ass at BravoCon? If she did say something to you, Meredith, why would you take it to heart if she was drunk? And it was known that she was drunk because everyone knew that she was drunk at BravoCon because while BravoCon was happening, it was being reported on. So I call bullshit on Meredith because Miss Attorney, think like one. If you in a court of law and somebody's talking about, oh, this and that was said when they were drunk, and it's related to contracts or business or something being rectified, it's not going to be admissible in court in a situation like that. They drunk. They can say they were not in their right mind at the time that they were dealing with you. So the fact that Meredith, with any other situation, wants to play semantics so hard, but doesn't want to do it in this situation is absolutely insane to me. The other thing is once somebody accuses me of being an alcoholic, I don't want nothing with you. And if Whitney was going to retract anything for you to show that you were in a good place, how dare you force her to do that? Because that'll show her right there that if she has a conversation with you off camera, that the moment that you can, Meredith, you're going to bring up that conversation on camera. And that doesn't help to make you look like you're less guilty in what you're being accused of. That makes you look more guilty. And it makes it look like you are like Lisa, calculated and planted stuff. So I don't want to hear shit about Whitney at BravoCon. If Whitney said it at BravoCon, I don't care. Because the girl was pissed drunk.
Right.
She's pissed drunk. Meredith started this reunion basically showing that she's still going to be denying everything she denied during the season. She's not going to be willing to demonstrate any accountability or growth. She's not willing to see anyone else's side of things, and she's going to be up Lisa's ass. I feel like Meredith's performance at this reunion is going to cause her ass to have to leave this show.
Fingers crossed. So fingers crossed. We then go to Lisa. So Andy brings up Lisa's segment. We watch, snippets of her videos, things that have happened, things that she's been accused of, things that she has, alluded to, if other people, blogs, all this kind of stuff. So Andy pointed out Heather's saying that Lisa is a risky friend. So he asked Heather again, do you really think that she's a risky friend? And Heather said, absolutely she is. She is 100%. And Lisa said, she goes, I'm risky, you're snaky. Like, you're a snaky friend. And Heather's like, how am I snaky? Like, what example? She goes, like, you encouraged Angie to bring up the whole Todd farting conversation. That happened because of you, Heather. And Meredith's like, yeah, you encouraged Angie to say that. And she goes, well, I thought it was funny in the moment. I feel like, why not? But it's no different from you putting your hair around your lips and saying it. So it's no different. So what are you trying to say? How is that being snaky? So once they're going back and forth, Meredith jumps in a couple times and she's like, so you two are just going to tag team. And Lisa's like, no, we're not tag teaming. No one's tag teaming. I can handle myself. I'm a big fucking dog. I can do what I want to do. I don't need nobody to have my back. And I'm looking at Lisa like, girl, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, you is sniffing way too much of this Kool-Aid. So Andy,
what black people have you been around? Because you done referred yourself in this episode as a baddie, a big boss, a big baller, somebody important. White girl, please. Who you been around that got you feeling this way? Because Lisa ain't never spoke like this before. Never spoke like this before. Is giving Erica Girardi after she got friendly with Bose. The fuck are you doing?
Oh, I wish. See, this is why
that irritated me. I said, that's a baddie. Girl,
right.
Everybody want to call themselves a baddie, but nobody seems to pay attention that the baddies you watch on TV and all those who refer to themselves as baddies can't even keep a nigga. So what the hell is so bad about you? Lisa,
exactly.
Your man looked tired of you too. So maybe she Lord, that that made my fucking teeth itch, y'all. I am so sorry. Excuse my mouth.
It just made you want to be on the other end of the other stage, cussing her out, knowing she can't handle it. She gonna cry.
Yes,
I really did.
Lord, drove me crazy. Right, the cheap Erica.
The cheap Erica. That's exactly what it is.
Or so, like Jen Shaw, as quiet as it gets.
We'll get there in a minute. But Andy didn't ask Mary, does she think that Lisa is a risky friend? And Mary said, yeah, absolutely, Lisa is a risky friend. And Lisa's like, okay, Mary, like, give me an example. How am I a risky friend? Mary said, well, first off, you're delusional. Let's start there. And then she says, second off, I was looking at Lisa's face because I noticed Lisa didn't pipe up at Mary the way she piped up at Heather. So
real quiet.
Yeah, she's real quiet. And she goes, and Mary says, you think that you're better than all of us by saying that you live a different life and everything. And Lisa's like, because I do, Mary. And Mary was like, well, that's not really what she meant by that. She didn't mean we all live different lives, Mary. And everyone's talking at a tag team. It's tag team. And Mary's like, that's not what she meant. And Mary, you know that's not the fuck Lisa meant. Lisa thinks that she's better than everybody here. She thinks she has more money. She thinks she has more business acumen. Lisa thinks she's better. Let's just call it what it is. Lisa thinks she's better. She thinks she has more money than everybody, which we know is not true. She thinks she has more going on, which we trying to figure out what exactly it is by the time we get to this reunion. So let's not do that. Let's not act like Lisa isn't risky. Lisa puts her own foot in her own mouth and then tries to scout out of it by being aggressive and overly absurdly just belligerent. It's really ridiculous and stupid because it's like, how mature are you? Like, you're supposed to be in your 50s. Um, Mrs. Best said, I wish Mary would remind Lisa that she's not the wealthiest housewife. I wish she would too. And that's one thing I'll give Mary. Mary might flash her wealth in other ways, like buying name brands and shit. But Mary really could turn the whole trajectory of wealth in her direction. She really could.
If the requirement for this show was to have the wealth that Mary has, I believe that everybody on this cast would be gone. I think the only person that might still linger is Heather because of what she's attained while on this show. But I feel like the rest of them would be gone. Mary, if you're going to be on this show, and since people are going to support you through all this crazy cult mess, work for your check, bitch.
Right.
Pastor. Make the pastor work for her check. Okay, please. Because you should be clocking these women. You should be clocking these women. I get what Mary's trying to do, trying to play the diplomatic person amongst the group. But Mary, this would have been the perfect time to say, according to statistics, I make more than you, but you live a different life from me. That's all she needed to say. Because
That's all
come
she
on.
needed because she doesn't live a different life. Though all of y'all are on the same show, showing all of your entrepreneurships. All of y'all are doing the exact same thing. Just because
Mhm.
Lisa may income wise make more than some of you does not make her better. That's what my point was. Definitely. Hi Shady, thank you for being
Tammy,
here. Don't worry about that. Erica is deaf, cheap at Kevin. Just wait for enough to come up. She don't get it too. Trust me. White women like her don't stay down for long. She just
California state, though, as liberal as it is here, and we getting ready for a new governor, and this state feel like they got something to prove. They're not letting go of her lawsuits.
Oh no, they're not gonna let go of the lawsuits. Whoever she end up with, so let me tell you, whoever Erica end up with, because I don't think it's that man they're talking about in the season. I think there's somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he gonna have something. He just ain't gonna. Well, she can't. He can't marry her because, as I said, ain't no judge gonna let her out that marriage. So she might as well forget
I'm
about it.
gonna be in the ground, and it's crazy in California. Your spouse go to prison. That's like the fastest way out of a marriage. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that that man is sitting in jail and she is not allowed to leave him.
Yep. Goes to show you. Talking about she filed separation. We knew that already. Talk about something
Girl,
different.
bye. Girl, bye. They won't let you divorce him. She tried to file for more. At Trust and Believe with the CDC, he won't be here much longer on God's green earth. California Department of Corrections, people don't come out of that shit the way they went in.
Lex Lee said, "I don't know if it's a good idea for Mary to flaunt church money." Well, here's the thing.
She
As
has
I said,
other investments.
she has other things like it's not that little bitty church is not paying for that lifestyle. It can't. Like when y'all think of what a church actually makes, nonprofit, it cannot. Now you can build businesses inside of it, which is what a lot of pastors do, which is why we see a pastor driving a Rolls Royce. Believe me, he has lots of businesses in that. Like we have there's a pastor on TV right now who owns the network that he pastors on. And because people tune into it, that's what gives him his revenue. And he doesn't have to pay taxes on it because it's built through his nonprofit church organization. Ain't that crazy? But that's how it happens. It's very similar for Mary as well. All of the businesses that she has underneath the church, yes, it's a gold mine. It really is. So it's not the
Do
church people
think
money.
though that any businesses established under Robert Sr., though, I do think those are at some type of risk. But the businesses that her grandmother established, they didn't explain that in the documentary.
They
They
can.
only spoke about the stuff that relates to the church that they're alleging to be a cult. So we didn't get a lot of the backstory, but based on her, what do they call it, her profile and all the stuff that she definitely has a lot that's not connected to the church.
Absolutely, she does. And that's why I said they can't go after that. That's the reason why they didn't. The only thing they could have mentioned was that salon, that daycare, and that restaurant.
Mhm.
Because those are all things. But the other things that they have, like the mortgage company is actually founded by someone else. It's just the backdoor money is what got them. So that's why it's a whole different scenario for a whole different day. I want to reach out to that lady. I do and get her up on here, but I don't know if she'll do the interview because I don't think she want to expose her business like that. But what I'm just saying is, yeah. But moving on, y'all, we're gonna move on to the next thing they argue about. They talk about Lisa's lawsuits that come up and how Brown had brought that up. And overall, Brown said, I didn't really, there was nothing to really bring up. I didn't research it. I didn't do anything. It was in the Salt Lake Tribune. So I just read about it and just mentioned it. And Lisa's like, see, I find it funny that they're always in my business. And what they don't know is that, yes, a lot of those cases got dismissed. 3 of those cases got dismissed. 1, we're waiting on a summary judgment. And then the other one, we're waiting on litigation. It's nothing. Everything is working in our favor. And so everyone was like, okay, if it's a summary judgment, that means you owe them the money. And they said, oh, and Lisa's like, oh, you don't know nothing about my business. You're being sued criminally. I'm being sued civilly. You don't know the difference. Stay, mind your business, Bronwyn. And Heather's like, no, Lisa, if you got a summary judgment, that's what that means. I said, Lisa's so damn stupid. Like, you just told on yourself. And instead of saying, fuck, like, you can tell her mom, she said, fuck, I didn't mean to say that. Because, y'all, a summary judgment means that, directly speaking, if you get a summary judgment on a case when you're being sued, that means you have to pay back the plaintiff. That's exactly what that means. So, Lisa put her own foot in her mouth. I was like, see, Lisa, there you go. And that's how we know that there's truth in what Bronwyn is saying. It's like, you owe these people money and you should go to work and pay them. And when Lisa said, I do work, I work really hard and all this. And so they said, why didn't you come to Angie's trip then? And Whitney mentions, I thought it was interesting too, because she never misses a trip with anybody. She never misses anything. So when I saw her Instagram, she had a picture of her in Miami. So I think she was with what was the man's name? Ben Affleck. I thought she was in Miami, recovering from
I just
invasive.
looked up, sorry to interrupt you, a summary judgment and
Mm-hmm,
asked a cousin who's a corporate law attorney in Los Angeles. And it
mm-hmm,
says that the only reason in a situation like Lisa's, because my cousin, shout out Montez, watches the show, would be issued that way is if Lisa wasn't responding or was ignoring the lawsuit or a judgment that existed. And it's a way to like quickly resolve a lawsuit for someone that's like avoiding it, but is one-sided and they can't provide like facts or something. So it sounds like if Lisa has a summary judgment, she was avoiding or making court take so long that the people who were suing her went to court to ask for it to essentially resolve it quicker and force her to pay.
mm-hmm.
So it's even worse that she would
Yeah.
even bring it up. And sorry, y'all, I'm on Facebook Messenger. Apparently, my cousin watches your channel, James. So
Oh,
uh,
yay, yay.
I did not know. Let me watch what I say since my family finding their way to you. But that is interesting because it shows that Lisa, like you said, that's probably why she looked like she had egg on her face a little bit because it's like
No, she looked like as soon as she said it, she said, fuck,
she
I wasn't.
regretted it.
Yeah,
You're
she
not
looked like
an
she said,
attorney, Lisa. Like you're just not an attorney. Like in her head, I really think she thinks she's that smart and can keep up because she's friends with a former attorney. But nah, Lisa just should. This is the power of no comment. I
no
can't
comment.
speak
I
on that.
cannot speak on that. I cannot speak on that until these are resolved. I cannot speak on these until this matter is resolved. So it then comes between her and Bronwyn. Andy thought that they had a truce between the two of them. And Bronwyn said that she kept her part of the bargain true. Like she never spoke on Lisa's family. She never said nothing about her kids. Lisa, after they had the truce, Lisa was spreading all kind of rumors about her husband, saying all kind of things. At BravoCon, there's a video that someone sent to Bronwyn saying that Lisa was talking about Todd's belly and how small his dick was and everything like that. Lisa has done this. And so they played a flashback of Lisa actually saying that what Bronwyn is saying, which I thought was fucked up. And then to make matters worse, Lisa said, but I apologize to you, Bronwyn, on the boat. We did this. And I said everything. And Bronwyn said, yeah, we did it. And then you did it again. Bronwyn kind of happened after the fact, Lisa. And then they showed, not even a day after, Lisa saying, talking about Todd again. And Bronwyn was like, well, why don't we mention John's first wife? Why don't we talk about her? Lisa. And Lisa, yeah, we're not going to talk about John. We're going to talk about Todd Bradley, though. We're going to talk about him. And I said, Bravo, hold the hell up. I wish they would have showed this clip in the show. Producers, y'all are slipping at y'all jobs. Bravo in that call center. Tell the production crew they are slipping because that conversation, I get they didn't have no makeup on. This was definitely like a premise of camera being there, but not really being there, just in case they say some shit that we need to insert at the reunion. But fuck all that. That moment needs to be on camera. Because the fact that Bromwell didn't come across that table after Lisa was saying horrible things about Todd, I'm sorry, y'all. I know Mrs. Best very well. But there was no way that Lisa would have said all that shit in front of my best friend down there. And I wouldn't have to stop her from going to jail. Yeah, I'd probably go to jail my damn self. I'm talking about my damn husband. Like, that was crazy that Lisa did that. And the fact that Lisa's sitting on the stage justifying and saying, well, you talked about my family, you did the same thing to me, or you're a liar. That's what this is Lisa's three things. You either are a liar, you talked about her, or you said something bad about her, or it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So it's like, Lisa, go ahead and move on from there. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, what would have been your response after you and Lisa had a truce that she would no longer talk about your husband or your family anymore, and then she goes and do it, and then at a very private dinner when y'all ain't got no makeup on, y'all look very regular, that she does it again after you told her to stop? What would have been your response to Lisa?
Um, Let me tell y'all something. If you really actually love your husband, it wouldn't have gotten this far. I'm not making a truce with no bitch about not talking about my man. You get one warning and then you get popped in the mouth and other various spaces on your body that will cause you pain. You don't do that. And, I feel like there's this thing where people are always like, oh, don't talk about nobody kid. As quiet as it's kept. Don't talk about nobody husband or wife. You'd be surprised the energy that would come out of them. But I also think this just shows like Bromwell, you clearly is already tired of Todd and 1 foot out the door, like we suspected when you came on this show.
Yeah.
Because if you cared about your spouse, you would have had a reaction. She had no reaction. Other things, if you have a husband that you're not good with, it's probably easier to talk about other people's spouses. Like that's an odd thing to do. It's a very odd thing to do. It'd be one thing if it was like, I guess I'll compare it to Toya and Heavenly on Married to Medicine. Because
Mm-hmm.
Heavenly talk about Eugene when Toya get to starting with her and doing the most and all this crazy stuff. So, okay, that fine. But with this situation, it's like, Lisa, why are you talking about this girl's husband? You done talked about her daughter, her daughter's father. Like, you've talked about too many personal things. I get Bronwyn with not wanting to give it much energy, but Lisa needs to be popped in her mouth. I don't have a like astute way to say that. Like that's it.
Well, see, that's what I said. They need somebody that's going to go toe to toe with Lisa, have her crying like, Heather, where's Shaniqua or Shatiqua, or whatever the fuck her name was? Bring her on the show, so that way we can see what really would happen. Because obviously y'all are scared of her, like seriously. So Andy then plays, a montage of previous seasons with the ladies to kind of reminisce of how far Salt Lake City has come. And the only things I paid attention to was the scenes with Mary, because Mary had hella one-liners that were funny as hell between the little girl and then the inbred shit. I laughed so fucking hard because sometimes you forget about things, and then in the moment when they happen again, you get taken off guard. Mary was funny as fuck when Heather said, "Do I really look inbred, Mary?" Yeah, you do. Mhm. Absolutely. It's like, damn, Mary, that shit was funny. So Andy
Bravo,
asked,
keep the same energy though with your other shows because Married to Medicine is outdoing Salt Lake City in views right now and is being
mm,
talked about very heavily. Housewives of Atlanta back in the days when Sheree, Nene, Candy, Kim, when they were all part of the cast, was redefining pop culture harder than Salt Lake City is and did it during a time when social media was not as prevalent. Please don't be congratulating these bitches who are literally famous now that we're seasons in for selling shit to tabloids, talking and leaking information to bloggers. Like, if you're gonna be a part of pop culture and make shit interesting, be interesting. But if we really dig down into this cast, Monica, the reality Von Teese, the Jen Shaw, Mary situation, I'm just like, okay, they entertaining, yes, but I want to see the same fucking acknowledgement, especially with February around the corner, for the cast that have kept to keep Bravo going as well. Because the last thing these heifers need is a bigger head than they already have, especially Lisa.
Absolutely. Yeah. So moving forward, Andy asks, okay, so who in the group feels like they've had the most growth? Mary raised her hand, and then Heather also raised her hand. Heather said that, to see how far she's come when she looks at the old her, she says that, that was probably her lowest point. That is, when she was, the lowest in her finances, her lowest, physically, her lowest mentally. She was in a very low place. So to see how far that she's come, she's bought two houses. She bought two new cars. She's bought published two books. She did all that on the back of this show that she doesn't feel like if she had not been on the show, she would be able to do that. And there was a lot of people that felt like Heather didn't deserve this opportunity, which Heather, don't get beside yourself. You still feel that way. But she said that regardless if she deserves it or not, she's glad she's here. And I thought her answer was cute. And it was, that was a good answer, but I still feel the same about Heather as I did first season. Heather does not need to be here. After that Jen Shaw shit, Heather should have left too. Point blank. Period. Mary also
Heather has not changed. The only way Heather's change has been negative, not positive. If you look at change when you're discussing the person, if you look at change when it relates to her income, yes, she has grown a lot. She's proven to be a great businesswoman. And now she's getting into documentaries and other things. So she's great there. But when you talk about growth on the show as a person, I've seen her. We used to like her. Now I just look at her like a liar. Like, you sat there and preach body positivity to run and take some form of a shortcut. You talk about body positivity, but your business that you own is literally helping people to change parts of their body instead of accepting it. You lied about the black eye. You were up Jen Shaw's ass just to suddenly act like her criminal acts impacted you. You were pissed with Monica, even though you were leaking information yourself to Reality Von Teese at some point. She hasn't showed us anything storyline wise. She's used her kids for a storyline. We've not seen her date. We're not seeing her do anything but throw out old ass mattresses. Like, this lady is a waste of money. And now she has success outside of the show that she'll be okay without it. I hope that Bravo, at the very least, demotes Heather.
That's a good point. And I like that you said that because I agree 100%. I think that now that she has other things going outside of Bravo, maybe this is a chance to give someone else a try to actually have stuff going on because we don't see Heather on season, what is this, season 5, did not even have a scene by herself. So, yeah, I think that that's a very good place to point out. Mary also chimed in because Andy mentions that from season 1, Mary to now Mary's a lot more engaged with everybody, a lot more, happier with the girls, a lot more outspoken, a lot more present. What changed? And Mary said, season 1, I felt like the girls didn't want me to be there. I felt like no one really wanted me there, maybe except for Meredith. Everybody else was kind of pushing me to the side, not inviting me to things. So, you know, I took a step back. And then when I came back, I came in with different energy. And then I started to fall in love with these girls. And then now I'm, saying a word or two, make sure that everyone collectively is here. And I thought that was a very honest answer from Mary because I do agree with her. I do feel like on season 1, they did try to push her out by simultaneously trying to use what people were saying about her against her, too. So it's kind of like they had the best of both worlds. We can isolate her because we can say we don't like her off the back of Jen Shaw because Jen Shaw wanted to be the star of the show. And she knew that Mary was her only competition with that. Because she wasn't going up against Mary like she did the other women and intimidating them and everything. So I do agree with Mary. I absolutely believe that. Mrs. Best, how'd you feel about Mary's answer?
It was fine. I still want her to do more, but it was fine. Mary to me is like Karen Huger grossly overrated in that when she does give, it's fake as fuck. Like we got on this finale with her talking about her concern for Meredith. And outside of that, anything she gives is just comments to herself and or in confessionals. So I feel like Mary is a better friend of than she is a housewife. Um, but I don't mind her as a housewife. But she definitely needs to do more for her chick.
What could she do that would suffice her actually deserving to be a housewife?
I think she's riding the wave of people have empathy for her because of her son, and she's riding it so tough. But I think eventually everybody will wake up and see that she's not giving. She's not really interacting with people. It seems like she's just kind of going along to get along with people right now. And it just feels disingenuous compared to how she moved in previous seasons.
So you think season 1 Mary was better than season 6 Mary? Okay. That's fair. I'm because I agree with that. I do. I think Mary does need to do something, but I don't know what that could be because Robert Sr. is not coming on the show. So we already know we're not going to see the dynamic of marriage. And I don't think I would want to see that based on what I saw in the documentary. So I feel like that's kind of a given. The thing with her son, he's now in jail. So I don't know if that's something that would compel.
Here's the thing. And hear me out, y'all, because I still feel like Mary Cosby's entertaining, but I'm tired of housewives coming on here and using husbands for storylines, kids for storylines, family, friends for storylines. When you think of housewives back in the day, we didn't see husbands that often. We just didn't. We didn't see the kids too often. Mary's son, he grown. His situation is his situation. I don't think we're going to be able to see much. And honestly, them filming it would not be good for the boy, if we're being honest. But like, I'd love to see what Mary does with her day. Like, we never really get too many scenes like that with Mary. We just don't see much. Like, sometimes we'll see her doing stuff with the church, but in real time, we like the church ain't in session. So I'm just like, Mary, please give us more. Please give us more. Anything. If she got to go back to calling bitches inbred, do that. But don't suddenly align and act like you're just, oh, I fell in love with these women. When just a couple seasons ago, you was calling them bobble-headed inbred bitches. Like, what? So it very confuses me, but she's necessary. So I do think she should stay on the cast, but maybe like the role that Brittany's playing, I feel like Mary and Heather should be in spaces like that. But even Brittany can give us a scene on her own.
Right. Even though Monica Garcia confirmed that she's not coming back to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I feel like that was a mess up on Bravo's end because she said that she does still have contact with Mary and maybe they could have been a duo that would have got Lisa and Meredith together. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, the ends because I feel like she need to do something too. I 100% agree, but I just don't know what that would be because her life is very structured. So I don't know what else she could really give us. Hey, Keywan, make sure you guys subscribe to Keywan's channel. It is in my description box. She does do lives as well. She doesn't do this show particularly, but she does do other shows. Great content. She is funny as hell. I love my girl, so thank you so much for stopping by, Keywan. We appreciate you. Calling Heather inbred to her face was her Pete Reed.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it was. Because it was what a lot of us were thinking. Like it was.
She's not saying stuff the way she used to no more, and that's what the problem is. If when she was in front of them, if she would have said to Meredith, "We're worried about you," if she would have said it the way Mary would have used to have said it, which is, "Well, what do you want? If you want them to shut up, then either learn how to act or talk to them." Like Mary would have given something, but instead she gave us this fake ass Martin Luther King speech. Talk about how concerned she is. And we know it's just not what she would normally give, but she'll skirt by as she always does.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. So now we're going to talk about, what was the last thing we're going to talk about? I think this was, they're bringing up Below Deck. So basically, what we come to understand is that the Below Deck crew was also filming their show at the same time the Salt Lake City wives were filming their show. So Andy brings up that there's going to be a different point of view in Are the Ladies Scared? And they're like, well, I mean, what else can they show? I mean, I think we all were on our best behavior. And by this time, Brittany's on the stage. So they then talk about Heather saying that she fucked around with Captain Jason. And Heather was like, oh no, we didn't have anything intimate going on. When I said fucked around, I mean that we were, traveling to places and everything and just being friends and going out, dinners and everything. I didn't mean it like that. And I looked at Heather and I said, Heather, cut the shit out. You didn't think cameras were filming at that particular moment, which is why you said it. And now you're trying to clean the shit up because you already know that Captain Jason already went on Watch What Live and said, no, they didn't have no intimate relationship, which I said from the exact beginning. I did not believe for 1 second that that man wanted to sleep with Heather. I did not believe that. So when Heather said it, I said, Heather, come on. Now, we might not be, the most in tune with how y'all get down, but I was not putting that. So it was funny to see her deflect and try to talk around it and try to clean it up. I said, good for you, Heather. But she said that, if I did do it, you don't think I would scream that from the rooftop? And we were like, no, you would have. We know that. That's why we were surprised that you said it. Andy said, who do y'all think was the most flirtatious with the crew? Because he saw that a number of them flirted with the, crew hand. And Brittany automatically threw Heather. She goes, oh, Heather definitely was the bigger flirt. And Heather looked at Brittany. She goes, I disagree. And Mary said, no, she wasn't. And that's not true, Brittany. Brittany was definitely flirting and everything. And she goes, was I? I don't know if I did. What? What happened? I'm sorry. I thought I heard something. I was like, oops, sorry. I didn't mean to. But yeah, Mrs. Banks. Not to ask none of them, now that you done unmuted yourself. Do you think that Heather was the bigger flirt than Brittany on that boat based on what you saw in the episode?
I don't even know why they discussed this. Brittany, first of all, I cannot with this woman. I cannot with this little girl. Mary, this is who you should have referred to as little girl. And when Brittany came out, Mary's face, if anybody paid attention to it, Mary do not like this lady. When I say she do not, and none of them do. If you look at everybody's face, when Brittany came out, they all looked agitated, disgusted, and aggravated. Like they had the biggest headache and no Excedrin available. I just can't. I can't. Brittany is a hoe. She's popular, as we say here in the Bay. She loose thought. She spreads it around and drops it low. I don't have much to say about Brittany. She just really looked really happy to be there.
She did. She was very happy to be there. She happy she getting her camera time. She really is. She just a cheese and smiling. We saw all 437 teeth. It was just
Lopsided titties,
amazing. Yes.
orange as hell, high body count hair.
Yes. It was very, yeah. Okay, Brittany. Okay. So it then comes up Bronwyn being late to the trip because Bronwyn had to deal with the legal cases that lead to the blogs. And Bronwyn said, well, I had to deal with that, but that's not why I was late. I had to talk to Todd to make sure that he was okay with understanding I still need to go on this trip with all the information. And then the reason why I implied that someone from the boat was talking to the blogs because the actual article said Bronwyn was late to filming because she was worried about her criminal cases. Now, at this time, nothing had gotten leaked yet. We were in real time. So it had to have been somebody from the boat that spreaded that for us to get back and read that. So I just want to know who could it have been. And he said, so do you think it's Lisa? I said, I don't know if it's Lisa, but I do know that Lisa does push for information to get out there. And everyone, once again, pushes Lisa to say that she is the source. Now, do I think Lisa did it? No. And I said this before. I don't think that Lisa did it singly. I think that it was more than just Lisa. Now, the only other person that I felt like had the opportunity to do it was Heather. And I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like now that, because Mrs. Best pointed out Heather in the actual live, and now that I had time to think about it and actually put it in perspective, Heather's the only person that has leaked information before. And we have a whole season that replies that. her hairstylist. So I do believe that.
I'm telling y'all, my discernment be on point. Y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see. The only one and the one who needs job most and needs drama to go because she's the only one with no type of a storyline. Lisa could talk about her shady businesses, how similar her and Jen Shaw are. Lisa could talk about her marriage being a mess and how she's roped into a religion that she really don't practice as quiet as it's kept. Angie's husband and her relationship, and that in itself gives that she could talk about that, and Angie with her many props give storyline. Bronwyn finna go through a divorce. James clocked that when she joined this cast.
I
So,
sure did.
that's a storyline. Whitney and Justin, an MLM scheme, just done destroyed they love. So they may be going through a divorce. Mary's got the cult, her husband and her son shenanigans that she could talk about if she wants. Brittany ain't a mom that's raising her kids. Everybody has something to talk about on this cast, no matter how I feel about them, except for Heather. She has nothing to do but to make my fucking teeth itch, looking like a combination of Thanos and an inbred Avenger.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Heather needs to go.
So Andy, right. So Andy asked Bronwyn about the case and about how, were you accused of this? And Brown said, no, somebody I worked with was accused of it. And we all kind of got tallied in, but the judge dismissed the cases. And Brown also says that she's now an American citizen. If she had criminal cases pending against her, she wouldn't have been able to get her citizenship. And I said, that's actually true. So I feel like it was something that probably had nothing to do with Bronwyn particularly, but she had probably a name in it because maybe she was a witness. I don't know. We just know that she was able to get her citizenship. They don't just give that away, especially in today's climate. They just don't. So
if you pay the right dollar, you can get citizenship. That's
no,
all
I know that, but I don't think he was.
And if you look like Bronwyn, it's even easier. So that don't mean shit. I think Bronwyn, like Kevin Reynolds says, I do think that Bronwyn has a lot that she's hiding. I think that's why these cases are sealed and all of these things. I think this is also an important lesson for everybody. Be careful how you do business and how you live your life, because they'll tell you that some shit is sealed and expunged just for it to still come up and follow you. So it's better to just avoid the drama. But Bronwyn ain't telling us the truth and it's sealed and she ain't got to. So just make sure you tell us about that divorce, girl.
So Andy brings up Angie K's commercial in regards to her having the Arby's and talking about franchises versus French fries. The commercial actually was very cute, both of the commercials that she had. And so Andy asked Lisa, has she seen the commercial? She goes, no, I haven't seen them. I just heard about it literally last night, and I have brand deals. They're all over. I've had much more brand deals, and a lot of these girls get brand deals because of me. And we're looking like everyone was caught off guard. So we get brand deals because of you? Like, isn't your brand deal off the back of Angie? Isn't that hair care line? And Angie confirms it. Angie said, Lisa, you got that hair deal because I extended that to you. Don't act like you just got that off the whim. And Lisa once again said, that's a lie. No, you didn't. And everyone's like, no, we've heard this from Angie way before you even got attached to it. Stop it, Lisa, stop it. So everybody wants to, and Lisa goes, everybody wants to come against my business. Everybody wants to do that. I am successful. I throw events. I do everything. And Heather's like, oh, so you throw events? Oh, so is that what you really do? I never knew that. I just thought you had liquor. I didn't know you did events. And so Lisa says, yeah, Lux Entertainment or whatever the shit is called. It's an event planning. And she goes, oh, is it? Yeah, so now that you bring it up, what exactly do you do, Lisa? She goes, you don't know what the fuck I do? You've been to my events. And Mary said, yes, we've been to several events of Lisa's. We know that she does this. Like, come on, that's so disgusting and such an allegation to put out there. And everyone's telling Mary, no, that's not an allegation. We're asking her what she does. She goes, I have thrown events. We're a marketing. We help market companies and everything that they do. Like, I worked with the Bella Twins. We had a business that we sold and everything. I make brand deals. I am a millionaire. This is what I do. Lisa, you did not answer the question. What exactly do you do with this Lux Entertainment Vindication, whatever the fuck it's called? What do you do specifically with this company? Because overall, we thought you just had Vita Tequila and the lounge. So now you got a whole marketing entertainment business now? Where the fuck did it come from? You didn't talk about it, Mrs. Best. Did you ever recall Lisa mentioning this Lux Entertainment business in 2020 when the show aired?
No,
Yeah, I
no.
didn't hear about it. All I heard was about Vita Tequila. Y'all, did anybody in the chat put it in the chat? Did y'all hear about Lisa having an entertainment company when she first came on
If
the show?
somebody asks you what you do for a living, it should be very easy to explain.
Yes.
And if you are an entrepreneur, an independent contractor, someone working for yourself, not for a company, it should be easy to explain. If someone says, "What do you do outside of your 9 to 5?" I would say, "I am a content creator on YouTube, recapping and reviewing my favorite reality television shows across different networks and streaming apps." And then I would move on and ask someone else a question. Lisa could not answer a simple question and got so upset and went off on these ladies. I find it weird, as I stated in the comments, I find it very, very weird that a woman who is married to a man who is so active in the Mormon church that her son is excited to go on his first mission, living in Salt Lake City, Utah, in a city and state where they do not have liquor stores. You cannot buy liquor at certain times and days, and there are limits to how much you can buy because people don't do that. Where they have soda drive-throughs because people don't drink and they get their fun out of fucking soda. You're telling me that you have a luxurious entertainment company that the biggest of biggest celebrities are coming to in Utah. Lisa's full of shit. I feel like she probably does do legitimate event planning, like Kevin said. But I also feel like there's a lot of other illegitimate stuff going on, like it's a front or something, allegedly. Because it looks very strange for you to be talking about your mediocre tequila, thank you, Todd, for 6 seasons. You've had events that they could show on camera. But when we think back to those events that they showed on camera, proving the so-called legitimacy of this company, she really didn't explain what it was for at that time. So Lisa got something to hide. She all sorts of shady. I tell you, you on TV long enough, shit gonna come out that you didn't think would ever come out. Shit you thought was sealed tight is unsealed and unraveling. I feel like Jen Shaw is not the only person on this cast who attained their wealth in a way that was questionable. That's what I'll say. Because I'm
Absolutely
on your channel.
No, so for me, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Like, the only reason why I brought up Sundance is because I know that she sponsors that. I don't think that's the same thing as her throwing it because Sundance started with Robert Redford back in I think the 80s. And I know as of next year it's leaving Utah and going to Colorado. So
yes,
I don't know. That's why I said I don't think that that's her shit solely. I think that she sponsors it. I think she sits on the board of it, but I don't think that that's her shit solely. So the reason why I brought that up as an example is because that's the only other thing that I know that may be legitimate outside of anything else that she's ever done.
But
Because
that is
she's
not
not me.
this.
That's what I'm saying. But that's the only thing that I know that she has brought up on television. Because she just brought up Ben Affleck and Blake
I just want
Lively.
people to keep the same fucking energy. When Jen Shaw's business started to look a little bit shady, people did not let go of that. With Lisa, it's looking like it's just going over everybody's head. And honestly, her wealth does not make sense. It just doesn't. Everyone else's can kind of be explained, but
Right.
I'm just saying, birds of a feather flock together. They all knew each other to some extent in some way off of the show. So Jen Shaw
Yeah,
probably ain't the
no.
only one bad. And Jen Shaw did say that while hollering at them bitches. I'm not the only one that's just bad. Like, so
Well, to me, anytime someone say they have anything with telemarketing or marketing in general, when we have all the social media and everything like that, I always question.
yeah, you should.
I always question it because to me, directly, I know people make a living doing that. I'm not listen. I'm not trying to take away someone's bread and butter, but it is very questionable when the forefront of your business is, especially how what Lisa did not explain is that she throws parties and stuff like that, but that's not marketing unless you're marketing a product for that party. That's not what she said. So we only can go based on what she said. Now, had Lisa said that, listen, part of my marketing chamber is that Vita Tequila, I use it as a sponsor when someone needs to throw a party here in Utah. I meet them with I have the location, I have liquor, and I have this, and that can be the forefront of you bringing whatever you need to have promoted, and we can share the same space. And I'm also on a reality TV show, so I have a lot of followers, and this is what I'm doing. If she would have explained it in that way, where she's saying that I'm an event coordinator and I party promote, then maybe I would have said, okay, I can kind of see that you have a liquor brand. Totally got it. That's not what Lisa said. Lisa was immediately defensive and saying, you don't know what the fuck I do. No, we don't because you didn't explain it. And you have not explained it the entire time of your being on the show. The only thing I can give her credibility for is Sundance. That's the only thing that would make sense. But since she didn't say it, I cannot give it to her. Now, if she says it next week, then fine. But as of this week today, she didn't mention it. She didn't say anything about it. So that leads me to believe, and I know that they're moving next year. So that's why I said I'm waiting for someone to bring up Sundance because that's the only thing I can think of based on from season one to now, that would make legitimate sense of why she has that business. The Bella twins, uh-uh. Forget them. Uh-uh. You lost me with them because they ain't even in that shit no more. So they don't even go by the Bella twins anymore. So yeah. And they live out here in Phoenix. Well, one of the sister does, lives out in Phoenix. So that's why I know they're gonna go through that shit. So yeah. All of that required 3 syllables or more. Lisa might be stuck. True. Lisa is a headache. Her husband is fed the fuck up.
It
No,
looks
I
like
think
she was doing bad business behind her husband's back to a certain extent, unless they're partnered together, which I can't see him being into that based on how religious he is. But then again, you'd be surprised. But it seems like Lisa has other shit going on in the background. Maybe they'll dig more into it, but she has a shit ton of lawsuits, not for nothing. So she
I'm just saying
irresponsible
she
some
has
way.
lawsuits that are, pending. She has a tequila company that is in nobody's store. She's literally like her, like you said, her wealth does not make sense.
It does. You can only
Y'all,
buy her tequila, it seems like, on the website. And even on the website, it's difficult to figure out.
right.
It's difficult to tell to
So how
figure
are
out.
you? Because it takes a lot of money to make this stuff. So how do you? And then you have employees, you have
And I
workers.
learned in Mexico, if your tequila is really real, the process to have it takes years. So if you just pumping the shit out, then are you really giving us the true 100% agave, blue agave? I'm just saying, Lisa, because Todd said that shit was mediocre. And you supposed to be on top and the best. I want your shit to taste like Casa Azul.
Everybody said, like Mary had said it at one point that her tequila was not good. Like it just tastes like water and it has a bad aftertaste. That's what Mary said. So to me, I kind of feel like if people are saying it's not good, and then she didn't even drink her shit when they had them shots. So yeah, like no, like come on, y'all, we're not going to do this. But I just feel like Lisa, this was your way to explain your shit away, and you kept tripping over your own foot, or you kept getting defensive, meaning that there's more underneath the surface. And had you did what I just did, which is mention Sundance, because that would have got your way up out of that shit, because all of them have been to that event. That would have been your segue out of it. And I was waiting for her to do it, and she didn't do it. So that makes me feel like she may just be a sponsor, and that's it. Which ain't nothing wrong with it, but don't. But once again, Sundance had his own shit like way before the show even like was introduced to us. So yeah.
She's just a person involved. There are hundreds of people involved
Mm-hmm.
in large media agencies, event planning, and things like that. The problem is Lisa wants to always look like she is the head honcho on top of the COO, the CFO, the CEO. Lisa wants to look like she's the person on top all the time. This cast would do better if they just called out Lisa's flexing and lies and painted that narrative instead of arguing with her. Like if everybody was just in their confessionals, kind of giggling, kind of ignoring stuff, kind of like you see on other shows when Toya say certain stuff. Sometimes people be like, "No, well, that's just Toya. We just let her talk.
We just let her
We
talk.
know."
We just let
Or
her
Portia, how people be like, "We know she be lying." Or Mia, hashtag Mia be lying. The cast needs to treat Lisa Barlow the way that Portia and Mia were treated on RHOP and RHOA. Because when bitches be lying, they just be lying. It won't look good. The more energy they give Lisa, the more she'll keep going with this season after season.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And she's going to continue to do it. And the fact that they still, I think a lot of the other reasons they still look at her as the popular girl on the show. And you know, with Heather and Whitney having their traumas and Bronwyn too on the under, I think that they're never going to not see her in that position, no matter how many times they try to bring Regina George down. They know that she still holds the cards. And that's so sad. Because as I said, y'all really could have took that power away from her, but y'all didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing more we can do but just put up with her for however many seasons she lasts, which I don't know. Depending on the show,
I don't think Lisa's going anywhere. I don't. I think the only way Lisa will leave is if she's found to be guilty or exposed in some way with business. But other than that, I feel like she'll stay here. I think if anybody's going to go, I feel like Meredith. She just gives you that old lady that if you try to get her to walk too fast, she could fall and really hurt herself. That's what Meredith gives. She needs to retire.
Well, here's the thing, because I thought about it a lot. Meredith is going to parlay her check to being on Next Gen NYC, and that's going to piss me off because I don't want to see Meredith on that show like I did last season. But I feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like she'll leave this show only to be full-time on that show. And
it's Next Gen. Let the next generation get it, because Ariana was the star of that show. Ariana and Riley. We really didn't even, honestly, Meredith's kids are just as boring as her.
Right. We don't need them at all because Brooks was afraid to do anything. So it was kind of like, well, why are you here?
Chloe was just there. Pretty as
and she was just there. It's just smiling. Yeah.
Pretty.
Beautiful all of them look like Meredith. Yeah, they all look like Meredith. They do. All of them look like Meredith.
I just want the Marks family to go back to being the nice, quiet Jewish family that they were.
Yes. 100%. Being nice, quiet. Meredith can still do her DJing, but yeah, she can get off the show. I feel like they're gonna remove one more person. I do. I don't know who they would remove.
I'm okay with Meredith, Heather, or Whitney leaving this cast in any order at any time.
I see Whitney leaving before Heather. For some reason, I don't think they'll get rid of Heather. I don't know why. Like
Heather
it's weird.
is working with Peacock. She's working with sister networks. Heather, if I think you're right with that, just because Whitney really is she was a star and interesting, but I think she over-sexualized herself, and I think it kind of impacted her negatively on this show, because once we stopped seeing the fun stuff with her and her husband, and it seems like she don't know what to do when she's not guilty or free.
Right. And I think that another thing is that we're tired of her storyline being, well, I'm building this business. And then the next season, well, I lost this business because of this and this. And then Justin, I trusted Justin. And now we have problems
with her behavior at BravoCon. Because I remember that video of her drunk. And Andy looked annoyed. The audience was annoyed. The other housewives was annoyed. So it's kind of hard to come back from certain stuff, especially when you're not the most useful cast member.
Right.
While I do like Whitney, think she's adorable. Her time definitely on this cast has been up. Be accusing people of being alcoholics, and then she was the one who came for Mary and her church seasons ago in an inappropriate way. When Whitney does step out and shine, she does too fucking much.
You know what, Kevin Reynolds? Y'all know I love doing voices. Stop it. But anyways, but yeah, This was, as I said, this was Real Housewives. I'm glad this is going on because they're working on my nerves, especially Lisa. It's just,
I could see why Andy walked out because the moment this reunion started, Meredith was on some bullshit, and she knew what she
mm-hmm.
was doing. She
Oh,
knew what she was
absolutely.
doing. How
She
you
knew
gonna
what she was
tell us at
doing.
the beginning of the reunion that if you don't get your way and hear what you want to hear, that you gonna give everybody problems? That's basically what that lady said.
And you know Whitney's not going to admit to shit. You know Whitney's not that smart. So it's like, she's not. Because I would have read Meredith for absolutely. Like, when Meredith said, well, Whitney, you said, and I'd have looked at Meredith like, what the fuck that's supposed to mean then? What did I say? I would have, see, Whitney's too intimidated by Meredith and Lisa. That's why Mary was like, just calm down, use your words. You know, it's okay. You got the floor. Use your words. Use your words, Whitney. That's what Mary was saying the entire time. And I said, Mary, stop helping her. If she ain't big enough to go back after Whitney and Meredith, she don't need to be here.
That's why I'm annoyed with Mary. Stop fucking helping these bitches that you was just clowning not long ago. Because
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't help you. In fact, they tried to turn on you, bury you, expose you for being a cult. They was talking to Up and Adam and all this stuff. Whitney specifically was doing it. Don't defend her. That's why I'm looking at Mary like, bitch, you better figure it out,
Mary's
pastor.
better than me because I'd have looked at Whitney like,
I'm gonna
okay,
start
she's
preaching at
you.
Mary the way that she was preaching at them church members. Maybe then she'll fucking listen.
Y'all, if y'all want to see the documentary and get our opinions, that is on Mrs. Best channel. The link is in my description box. We spared no expense. We gave exactly our opinions, said exactly what we felt. It was a great show. So make sure you guys, if you want to see that, go ahead and click on Mrs. Best channel. But that was it. That was reunion part one. We are here a lot longer than I thought. But we have a lot to uncover. Hopefully, the reunion gets better by part two. I doubt it, but you know, we're always hopeful. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I also want this to happen as well. Andy, I am available. I am available at a very good price. Let's talk. I will definitely get the reunions right. I'm going to ask the questions that I've been asking. I watch these shows. So, yes, yeah, he didn't do this first part. More than likely on the third part or in the second part. That's when he's gonna do it. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. We will see you guys next time. The next time I will be live will be probably on Monday for Married to Medicine and Real Housewives of Potomac, unless I could squeeze something in. But we'll be live on Mrs. Best channel for the trajectory of the entire week. We have Love and Hip Hop Miami, which we're gonna do tomorrow, I believe, and then Love After Lockup premieres on Saturday morning of our review. You guys do not want to miss it. This is my first time watching that show. If you guys love me on 90 Day Fiance, I'm sure y'all are going to love me on Love After Lockup for all the foolishness I just saw watching this first season. So y'all are going to be in for a treat. That's because YouTube. Oh yeah, and Real Housewives of Beverly. Well, yeah, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills too. Sorry. Yeah, we'll be on Mrs. Best channel for that as well. I just trust me, Kevin Rimmons. If you knew me in my personal life, you would have a different opinion about this. Just saying. Just saying. But anyways, I will see you guys next time. Have a great one. Bye. Bye.